and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. This week we are beginning a new month, the month of Av, Menachem Av, Comforting Father, and it's the hardest month of the year for us. Half of the month is a very hard month until the 15th of Av, where everything turns around. But for the last week, 10 days, we've been already in this mode of mourning. We don't listen to music, we don't go to parties, there's no weddings, we don't do sheheyanu, we don't do anything that brings us joy. And on the Rosh Chodesh Av, the sages teach that when the month of Av enters, the joy goes down. Just as in the month of Adar, the sages says when the month of Adar enters, the joy goes up. Here we have to diminish our joy. So the last 9 days before the 9th of Av, we make our time even harsher. We don't wear clean clothes. Some people even don't take showers. We don't eat meat except on Shabbat. And we don't drink wine except on Shabbat, and we diminish our joy because it's a very hard time. It's a time of a lot of pain in the Jewish world. The 2 temples were destroyed, and on the 9th of Av, it was the day that the Meraglim, the spies, came out of the land of Israel with a bad report and made people cry. And Hashem says, because you're crying for no reason, then I'm going to give you a reason to cry. So according to the book of Yetzirah, the book of creation, the book of formation, the book of formation gives us a list of things that rule the month, like the tribe, the stone, the sense, the organ of the body, the constellation. It has all these things that rule this month. And the sense that rules this month, and I want to really concentrate on the sense, is the sense of hearing. If you remember, in the month of Tammuz, the sense is the sense of sight, that we have to correct our eyesight. This month of Av is the correction of the way we listen to everything. So hearing is the sense of this month, and hearing occurs through a gradual process. To hear a full sentence requires deciphering sounds, understanding context, gaining insight, and relating information to prior knowledge. Hearing occurs one bit of information at a time, culminating in a summation within your mind of the entire sentence, as the verse says, Vayi Shama Shaul, and Shaul heard, called the people together. This is in Shmuel. And hearing is thus a process of bringing together. It's a process of uniting, of unification, of putting different letters together. And when you speak, they make a sound, and then they make a word. So for example, if I'm going to say mother, I take M-O-T-H-E-R, but when I say it, mother, then it sounds mother, right? You're not listening to each letter separate. You're listening to the whole thing. So it says that the Hurban is the name that is given to the destruction. When there's destruction, the Hurban here is talking about the temples. Which is the breaking apart of reality. The opposite of destruction, of Hurban, is Haver, which comes from the same root letters, and Haver means friend or connection. So what we're learning here is that the destruction of something comes because there is a disconnection. And the historical Hurban of the temple is the breaking apart of the spiritual reality of the temple and the root of our exile from our land, which is essentially as a breaking apart of our relationship with our homeland. It was the breaking of the relationship also with God. And so that's why we experienced a Hurban. So we know that the destruction of the first temple came because people were doing the 3 cardinal sins. They were idolizing idols. they were having illicit relationships, and they were murdering. These three sins, that's what caused that the Babylonian Empire came and destroyed the temple and exiled the Jewish people. And then the destruction of the second temple, which happened, I think it was hundreds of years after, this second temple was destroyed because there was baseless hatred. There was sinat hinam. People hated each other with no reason. So if you look at it, in both cases, there is a separation. The first one is obvious, is between the people and God because they're committing these crimes. And the second one is amongst people. But really, the lack of love for another really is a separation from God too. Because not having love for your fellow Jew or love for your fellow really is a separation from God. So hearing also has an amazing spiritual power, and these deepest truths in the world are revealed through our spiritual sense of hearing, and bringing us to an awareness of realities beyond what the eyes can see. In the future, when the inner sense of hearing will be utterly transformed, we will be able to see what now we can only hear. It's interesting, when the Jewish people received the Torah at Mount Sinai, the Torah describes it like they saw with their ears and they heard with their eyes. Like the senses were so altered that they heard what they saw and they saw what they heard. So it says that this is what's going to be, that the hearing is the most spiritual of our senses. And we see here that the Torah says, Shema Israel, listen, O Israel, and vehaya im shamoa, and it will be if you will listen. And in these verses, the Torah wants us to apprehend the truth of Hashem's unity through mindful listening and conscious contemplation. So one of the things that happens a lot in miscommunications and people having problems with relationships, husbands and wives, and with their children, really is because people don't know how to listen. People hear what they want to hear and they don't hear what they don't want to hear. So although we do not yet see the presence of Hashem in this world, we can listen deeply and thereby recognize it bit by bit. So when we're aware and we're intentional and when we're awake and we're listening, if a person is screaming at you, instead of react towards them, listen to what this person is telling you, then you're going to be able to grasp a lot of what you need to learn in life. Like Hashem is talking to you, but our egos get in the way and they don't allow us to be this listener, this passive listener, to be sitting and listening to what's going around you. So when we hear and decipher the hints of divine presence in our lives, we can gradually gain deeper insight into the true nature of the world. And finally, in the Messianic era, we will be able to piece together the full sentence of Hashem's ever-present compassion. So lack of listening causes breakdowns in communication, which can lead to the destruction of relationships. And this is what we're seeing today. The media, for example, nobody's listening. People hear what they want to hear, and it's incredible. I was listening to an interview that they made to a lady in Israel, and she's telling the situation, and the person that's interviewing her is hammering her. He's not listening to her. He just wants to prove a point, but he can care less about what she has to say. And then you see the commentaries of the people, and there has nothing to do with what she said, because people don't want to listen. People don't want to listen to the truth. It's very interesting. It's really very interesting. So we see that the spies that Moshe sent to observe the land of Israel were in the land during Tammuz and returned to report to the people what they saw on the 9th of Av. However, there was a communication breakdown. The people were not really listening to the report, but instead listened to their own defeatist inner narratives. They were listening to themselves. So Hashem is putting mirrors in front of you. Every interaction you have with people, Hashem is talking to you. Every blade of grass that moves that you hear, Hashem is talking to you. But people will listen to what they're focused on listening to. They're not open to listening what Hashem has to say. So the Meraglim came and said, they said there are giants, and we're in our own eyes we see ourselves like grasshoppers. And the people, they heard what they felt inside. They felt themselves so tiny. They had so low self-esteem that they could not believe that they were going to be able to enter the land and be able to survive without the manna falling on their heads, and that they had to work. So the tikkun, the correction for listening to such bad advice, is to hear the hidden good in what other people say. So try for this month to listen to people. Even if the report is negative, listen to what goodness comes out of this report for you, how you can grow from this, how you can learn from this. So important. It's interesting that the parasha Matos that begins this week, Matos and Maseh, starts talking about the vows that people cannot say vows. You cannot promise. You cannot be promising anything. Which we say bli neder. God willing, with God's help, maybe it's gonna be, I hope it will be, but we never promise. Why? Because what you say matters. What you say matters. What you say, Hashem is listening to you. So we have to rectify the speech in order for people to be able to listen what you really want to say. Like Manis Friedman says, Rabbi Manis Friedman, he says, say what you mean and mean what you say. But people usually don't say what they mean, and they don't mean what they say. So we need to listen to the right people and open ourselves to listen deeply to the people that are close to us. We have to choose who we surround ourselves with. And whenever we are put into a moment where we're listening to negativity or anything that is not, let's say, what a Jew should be listening to, then you can have this idea of, okay, what is God trying to tell me through this? Instead of judging the person and looking at say what is in it here for me? What can I learn from this? So deep listening includes listening to what another is really trying to say. It's not merely what you want to hear. And the ability to share our thoughts, feelings, and ideas with others is a soul quality given to each of us. But to listen to another person, to become the container and receiver of another person's life story, is even deeper, because it emulates the divine quality of radical receptivity and unconditional presence. And this is when a person sits and listens to another person, and they tune into that midah of empathy, where you get out of your way, you get out of your thoughts, you get out of what you think it should be. You become an empty vessel, so you can listen to another person, and in that capacity you can have empathy towards another person, and really help them in their lives. So deep listening has to be cultivated and practiced. The more we practice listening, the more proficient and present we become. And this tikkun, this rectification that we create of being able to listen to other people, this will give us tremendous answers in our lives. It's gonna give us answers in our lives on how we should go. It's gonna be a GPS. So we're able to live to hear in multiple levels. There's different levels of being able to listen. And it says from simple physiological hearing to deep listening, in which we identify needs and empower the speaker, while the primary objective of listening is to benefit the other. It can also be used as a touch point for our own avodah, our own job. as a spiritual work. Like everything, the Baal Shem Tov said, everything you see, everything you listen to, everything is divinely ordained for you. It's part of your journey. You're not going to listen to something that you're not meant to listen, and you're not going to see things that you're not meant to see. Everything that you are exposed to is because it's part of your growth, it's part of you becoming the better you. So a wise person is someone who learns from everybody. This is the Pirkei Avot. And there's a beautiful teaching of Reb Simcha Bunim of Peshisha. And he teaches that every person needs needs a teacher to teach him Torah and the way to serve Hashem. Every person needs a teacher. But he says that someone who is wise, meaning that this person is able to learn from every person, from every experience, from everything he sees, even finding divine teachings within mundane conversations, this person does not need one specific teacher, for everyone is his teacher. I remember once in New York, I was crossing the street and there was the garbage collector. And I guess this garbage collector, he must have been in Broadway show or something, because every time he jumped off the truck, he would do like a round, and the way he would pick up the garbage and he would throw it into the thing, then he would go around all again. It's like he was like dancing and jumping on the truck. It was something amazing to see. And I was looking at this guy and I was like, wow, look how he goes through life. Look how he goes through life. Even picking up garbage in the street can be something done gracefully and beautiful. Even something so low can be beautiful. It was a teaching moment. The garbage collector in New York, he has no idea. He gave me this teaching. So yes, so indeed, every person we encounter and every situation in which we find ourselves is a teacher designed specifically for us at that exact moment and place. And everything is conspiring to teach us about ourselves, about the universe, and ultimately about the divine. So don't look at the world like it's the end of the world. Don't look at the world as a negative place. Try to change your mindset. Try to shift the way you see things, the way you listen to things. Don't be so rigid. Try to bend with everything. When you see protesters in the streets screaming their hearts out, calling for your extermination, don't look at them with bad eyes. Look at it like, okay, this is a teaching moment. What does God want from me here? Why are they screaming this? They're pawns of God. They're tools in Hashem's hands. Why do I have to hear this? Why do I have to listen to them? What are they really saying? And you'll get your answers. Be more Jewish, eat more kosher, keep more Shabbos, be more proud. You'll get your answers. Hashem is talking to you. And so I wish you a blessed month, that the sorrow of the month of Av turns into joy. On the 15th of Av, the whole month turns around. It's the Tu B'Av. It's the Valentine's Day of the Jewish people. It's the day where the maidens would come out into the fields and they would all dress in white. And they were looking for their husbands. And the boys would come out and they would see the girls. And they would say, like, raise your eyes and see. And each man chose a wife for themselves. So you see, from destruction, a lot of construction can come. And really, a Jewish home is construction. Jewish couples getting together, marrying, having Jewish beautiful homes with Jewish kids, and this is the future. So I wish you a blessed week, and remember, live a little higher. Thank you.